Our next guests are Kim and Ray Feliciano. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. They are co-founders of the Fourth Branch of America, and they are married as well. And one of their first projects is the Informed Constituent newspaper. So you're going to talk a little bit about that today, and then we're going to get into some discussion on CPS, which is a big topic in your paper. And I'm sure you guys got a lot to say about that. So tell us a little bit about your paper.
Sure. The Informed Constituent was a project that we started a little over 3 years ago. It's now going into its fourth year. We started it because we saw that the mass media, the general media, wasn't covering a lot of topics that needed to be covered, and especially from an objective standpoint, without spinning it, so to speak. Whether it's CNN or Fox, they both spin the news nowadays. And we felt that whether you're Republican or Democrat, people need to have good information in order to make an educated decision when they go into the voting booth. So this was what we started, a monthly publication that gets people to have a little heads up of what bills are being proposed at state and federal levels, interviews with politicians, and civics educational articles. We have Republicans and Democrats that both say that they find it objective, and that's a very tightrope to walk, but we do it proudly because we believe that whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they're all Americans, and we all need this information.
We've actually found the demographic of our readers from senior citizens, activists, students, young people. We even have, there was a fifth grader, there's been grade school students who have actually taken it to their classrooms, to teachers. And
you're going to talk a little bit about the teacher's guide today as well.
Yep, true. We just launched our new teacher's guide. So that's another actually demographic, because we have teachers now reading it. We've got schools that are wanting to find out more about the teacher's guide and the civics educational tool that it is. So that's actually really exciting for us, because it's a new, what really makes it unique is that it's a civics educational tool, and the objectivity is really important for that.
And where's the paper distributed?
We started in Albany County, but we've now expanded to 5 counties. We have over 7,000 copies a month at this time that go out, and that's actually about to increase, and I'll get to that in just a second. But we're in Albany County, Schenectady, Rensselaer, Saratoga, and Warren County, and we actually have some interest in expanding to other areas, including New York City and Vietnam.
Of all places.
And some newsstands, I've heard, are going to be going up at some point.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. That's our next big thing. This is a small home operation, or started as a small home operation, and we never had capital to start it off big, to say, hey, here we are. And so the newsstands becomes an important thing, because very shortly we're going to have newsstands, outdoor newsstands, with our signage on it, so more people will become aware that this publication is out there and available to them. We take subscriptions to the paper, advertising in the paper, and memberships to the organization, which allows us to get it out there further. And we're currently soliciting more and more support, and it's being very well received, again, on the left and the right.
And we're going to discuss some of the issues that are discussed in the paper. I want to know a little bit about your backgrounds. Kim, or Kimberly?
Oh, sure. Well, my background is really human resources. I have a psychology degree. I call myself a people person. I'm here to build the team. I have experience with a young company in Dallas, Texas, getting that company off the ground. So I'm here now, really on board with the vision of what we're doing is to really, bring people together and able to, get people to understand their government, to understand how it works, to get involved in their community. And this is just one of the projects that we're just starting. So when this is off the ground, we'll be doing other community projects. But yeah, my background, human resources, psychology, people, recruiting, and so forth. So we're actually recruiting interns. We work with student interns and volunteers. And when we get the funding, we'll be really building the company and hiring people.
So how far do you plan on taking the paper?
Oh, it's going nationwide. We're looking to franchise it so that everyone has an opportunity.
So this would be a good time to hook in with it then.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's also the website is a big portion of what's going to be developed. Besides just the physical paper, there's also the website, which allows such functionality as bill tracker, so that if there's a piece of legislation that's of interest to you, you'd be able to mark it and say, listen, I'm really interested in following what the progress on this bill is. These kind of tools, being able to navigate your government intelligently and easily. This is what we're looking to facilitate. Besides that, we're looking to facilitate people's connections with their government. We're not anti-government at all. We're actually about teaching people how to work with their government. And for example, we're working with law enforcement agencies in trying to show people these people, the police are not us versus them. They are us. They are our neighbors that have actually stepped up to the plate to do actually sometimes very dangerous work to help protect us. And we hear a lot of negative publicity about the bad cops, and unfortunately, a lot of news only works on that. What's sensationalist? What's, you know, what gets headlines are the few people that mess it up for everybody else.
Absolutely.
So we want to try to correct that perception.
Yeah, I mean, the law enforcement, they're the ones between the people and their government. They're the one enforcing the laws. So it's very important that we, you know, there's a lot of stereotype, there's a lot, you know, just in anything there's going to be negativity. So we really want to bring people together with their law enforcement and not be so much, not have so much intimidation between. And us being the medium between the people and their government as well, we're here to help facilitate the communication. So our paper is really an effective community forum. And thank you for having us. I mean, this is a great community forum as well. This is a live, you know, talk show. This is great. Really,
well, thank you for coming on.
Glad for your show.
I want to know a little bit about Ray's background as well.
Sure. I actually went to school here at SUNY Albany when it was still called SUNY Albany. I know it's University of Albany now. And I was a communications and rhetoric major. My background was a lot of how the media controls our perceptions of reality. We only know what's going on in Iraq because either CNN or Fox told us so. You know, we're not really getting any other perspective on it. You know, very few of us, or some of us here in America may turn on to BBC occasionally, but how many are seeing it from a Middle Eastern perspective? How many are seeing the whole situation worldwide from more than just our one standpoint? And that's a big focus of what we try to do, is always try to find what are all the different perspectives that go into this, because the truth is usually not just one-sided. That's a very, very central part to what we do.
You know, it's also interesting about the paper is that even though it's a capital region paper, we have people that have called us and contacted us from across the country. We have
subscribers outside the area?
Yeah, outside of the state and other states. And just like Ray said earlier, you know, Vietnam, of all places, are looking, there's a guy who's looking to franchise it in Vietnam. So what they're finding is that the issues that are addressed in our paper are issues that any community can apply. So a lot of times we will put out solutions, you know, potential solutions to problems, and it's a great way to address your legislature, address your legislators. If you have anything or you know anyone who's going through anything in the courts, or, you know, we've had people write in letters about child protective services.
I was going to get into that. You know, the paper is a forum for readers to write in.
Yes.
To about issues that matter to them.
Yeah, and we're not going to ignore people. You know, I mean, we're not like mainstream media where we're bound to, you know, funding or the funders, you know, or advertisers. We're independent, and we're not going to ignore people when they're desperate to be heard. And we have a lot of people, desperate people, actually, since we've started, writing to us and calling out to us about we actually even had a prisoner's perspective, a person in prison that was talking about what his experience was like. And, you know, that's just one perspective. You know, there's going to be, you know, correctional officers as well. They're going to have a perspective that's really important. It's important to hear from all perspectives.